It's so important that you socialise your puppy safely. We all know that the risk of a dog catching a deadly infectious disease is worse when they are puppies and have not completed their vaccinations. Did you know though that behavioural problems are the #1 cause of death in adolescent and young adult dogs under 3 years of age? Socialisation is key to ensuring your dog grows up to be free from behavioural problems, free from aggression issues, and is not scared of common situations. Safe socialisation is vital for the health and well-being of your dog. Stick around to learn more. Hi, I'm Dr. Alex Avery from ourpetshealth.com, helping you and your pet to live healthier, happier lives. Now, it's well known that a young puppy's brain is like a sponge. They take everything in they come across in the early weeks of life and file them away in the normal category. Nothing to see here, no reason to be afraid, no need to get defensive or aggressive. This critical period takes place between about 3 and 12 to 16 weeks of age. After this time, it becomes progressively harder to get a pup or adult dog to accept new experiences, new objects, new people, noises and situations as normal and safe. What this means is that a grown dog that has not come across a situation before is much more likely to show signs of fear or aggression compared to a dog who experienced that situation as a young puppy. Now, the problem with getting your pup to experience as many different people, animals, noises, vehicles and environments in this period is that a puppy's vaccination course will generally not be completed until 16 weeks of age. If we leave socialisation until they are fully protected from the likes of parvovirus, it will be too late. The critical socialisation period will be over. So, how can we manage this risk? Well, in areas where parvovirus, distemper, hepatitis or rabies and the like are common, the recommendations may differ slightly. So in every instance, you should be discussing socialisation with your vet even before your new puppy comes home. They will have local knowledge on the opportunities available to your pup. I believe, however, that the following 10 recommendations will help ensure your dog grows into a well-rounded individual, while at the same time minimising their risk of disease. At #1, let's start with the rule to mix only with healthy dogs that are known to have been fully vaccinated or healthy puppies that are going through their vaccination program. This will allow them to still meet and play with lots of different breeds and sizes of dogs. It's important that this playtime is supervised though, so that your pup avoids getting an injury from playing with an enthusiastic larger dog. Okay, so #2 is to make sure that your pup meets all your friends and family. These are people who will meet your dog regularly throughout their life. An early introduction will help prevent your dog from being scared or aggressive towards them in the future. Young children especially can be very scary to an older dog who has never had to come across them before. Also think about walking sticks, wheelchairs and any other props that people may need for daily life. These are all things that can scare dogs. Okay, so at #3 is to enrol in puppy classes where all attendees will have been required to have had their first vaccination and be healthy. Well-run, structured puppy classes are an excellent opportunity to socialise with other people and even more puppies. They are also often run by your local vet clinic, which really helps them accept going to the vets as a fun experience rather than one to be feared. It's often easy for us vets to know which dogs attended puppy classes even when they reach old age. Always remember where the treats are kept. These classes are also a great opportunity to discuss routine healthcare and basic training with the vet team, and even go through a basic clinical exam. If you handle your dog over their entire body, then they are more likely to accept this being done by a vet when they are feeling unwell. There is little more frustrating as a vet than being unable to properly provide care to a sick dog because they are just too aggressive. If they love their vet, life is easy. Okay, so next up is to explore enclosed gardens and properties that have no history of parvovirus. Now, this allows your pup to experience different environments and come across different objects. Now, because parvovirus can live in the soil for a year or more, knowing the history of the property is very important. You will also need to consider local risks as advised to you by your vet. Okay, so #5 is to get used to travelling in different vehicles. It can be very tedious having to battle with your dog because they are scared of going in the car. Start off with very short trips or even just sitting in the car with the engine running. If you have different vehicles, then alternating between them can also help. Now, driving around also allows your pup to experience lots of different sights, sounds and smells, all adding to the socialisation experience. Experiencing all the different sounds your dog will come across in daily life is our #6. Now, this may be loud traffic, fireworks, gunshots, thunder and crying babies. It can be tricky depending on the time of year to come across all of these things, but if you know that your pet will come across certain noises in the future, then even playing recordings of them will help them accept it. Doing it this way also means that you can start off more quietly and slowly just increase that volume to more realistic levels over a few weeks, and this reduces the chance of a fearful response. Okay, so strategy number 7 is, while they're small enough to carry your pup up and down busy streets, introduce them to everyone who shows an interest. After all, everyone loves making a fuss of a puppy, and so this will allow them to meet lots of different people of different genders, different ethnicities, sizes, age, clothing and more. Puppies can also be pushed around in a pram or buggy if they are unable to be carried. Just make sure that they are well secured, because you don't want them jumping or falling out and hurting themselves. Number 8 is one for you if you live by the sea. Walking on the beach below the high tide line is generally considered safe. Any contaminated material is likely to have been washed away by the tide. It's also a great fun place to play, and your pup will love it. Keep an eye out though also for fishing line and any hooks or bait or other debris that may have been washed up. You don't want your pup to eat something that they really should avoid. Okay, so my penultimate tip is to start training straight away. Most puppies will go to their forever home at around 8 weeks of age. This leaves only 4 weeks of the critical socialisation period to work with. Come up with a plan before you pick up your pup. Take some time off work, whatever it takes. This is too important an issue to ignore. Start training the basics like sit, stay and recall early. Will cement them into your puppy. It will sow the seeds for future training, as well as fast track the amazing bonds that we form with our pets. And last but not least, number 10 is to keep up your socialisation effort for the first year of life and beyond. You may not manage to include everything above in the first month together. Don't stop. Learning is a lifelong process, and the first year is still a great period to target. It's just not quite as easy as the first 3 months of a pup's life. Okay, so those are my top tips for safe socialisation. As for what not to do and where not to go, at all costs avoid popular dog exercise areas or places where other unknown dogs are frequently walked. These are hotspots for the spread of all manner of infectious diseases. Finally, for those of you with shy pups, you should really let them take things at their own pace. Avoid overstimulation or forcing them into situations where they are clearly unsure, uncomfortable or afraid. Forcing them can actually make things worse and end up with them being scared of these situations in the future. Instead, schedule more frequent but shorter length exposure to these problem situations, and they'll soon get over any trepidation. Just be sure to work at their pace rather than yours. As a final thought, if you get a pup later on, or if you're worried that they are developing any behavioural issues, it's really important that you speak to a trained professional straight away. Now, this might be your vet, a qualified trainer, or a specific animal behaviourist. Ignoring the problem, it will only make it much harder to correct at a later date. Behavioural issues are not something that simply goes away if ignored. They will get worse. Okay, so I hope this video really kickstart you and your puppy's life together. They bring us such joy. Socialisation really isn't too much to ask. If you have any questions, if there are any socialisation tips that you'd like to share or topics that you'd like covered in future videos, then please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Also, consider subscribing to this channel to make sure that you don't miss out on future content and allow me to continue to help you and your pet to live healthier, happier lives. So until next time, I'm Dr. Alex from ourpetshealth.com, because they're family.